Thousands in Spain have been demonstrating against the EU's draft deal with Turkey to stem the flow of migrants entering into the bloc. Protesters held signs saying EU shame and no one is illegal. Hungering's also turned out in Brussels too. The deal's effectively one in, one out. The EU will accept one Syrian refugee for every illegal migrant returned to Turkey. And over and above the humanitarian aid being sent by Europe, Turkey's funding could be doubled from 3 to 6 billion euro. Brussels is also considering allowing visa-free travel for Turkish nationals this summer, with the EU accession talks to be accelerated as well, although member states are not all on the same page about the proposed deal.
"72 conditions to be fulfilled before this visa liberalization can be granted to Turkey." So you see, there are a lot of complicated angles. There are countries that have difficulties with some aspects of this package. So that means the package is too broad and there will be too much conflicting interest among the 28 countries, the member states of the European Union.
Right, following these talks underway today and into tomorrow, our correspondent for Europe, Peter Oliver, in Berlin. Hi there, Peter. So let's focus on Brussels. What results can we expect from this summit if so many, as we heard, European officials are against this deal with Turkey? Because it's so multi-layered, isn't it?
Well, there's a long way to go before we can get any kind of real result or real solution on this deal that's on the table regarding the European Union and Turkey. In order to get a deal, there's 3 key points that need to be reached. One is that all 28 member states have to agree to it. That's not looking likely at the moment. The second one is that it has to be fully legal under international law. And the third one is that it has to actually represent a step forward towards ending this crisis. Now, when we look at the one-in, one-out system that's been put forward, we actually face a situation, it could be frankly bizarre and baffling, whereby a Syrian refugee boarding a boat in Turkey heading over to a Greek island could find themselves deported back to Turkey in order that a Syrian refugee in a refugee camp in Turkey be sent to the European Union. There's also legal ramifications. The Geneva Convention on Human Rights and Refugees says that, well, this can't be done, and also Turkey isn't a full signatory to that convention either. When it comes to getting other people on board, Cyprus are looking to try and block this. They say that unless Cypriots have their ports and airports open to Turkish travel, they're not on side. When it comes to things like the visa liberalisation, there's 72 points that Turkey is being told it has to adhere to. They're only adhering to around half of those so far. There's lots of ground needs to be covered before we get this deal. However, one of the leaders that's still confident in that deal is German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
A robust solution needs to see a partnership with Turkey. That is why we are giving aid to Ankara. Now we must look at how we can balance individual interests between individual member states and Turkey. If there is active cooperation, we will look into Turkey becoming a full member.
I was hearing from a few of the leaders as they were arriving in Brussels just before I came to talk to you. Mark Rutte, the Dutch Prime Minister, saying that there has to be a solution in these talks because there's no other options. However, elsewhere, other politicians around Europe, particularly in France, and particularly Marine Le Pen from the Front National, is saying that Turkey's demands amount to nothing less than blackmail, that they're wanting this extra €3 billion, they're wanting concessions regarding visa waivers and perhaps even talks on full accession to the EU if they take these migrants, and if the European Union countries should say no to that deal. Plenty of talking going to be going on over the next 24 to 48 hours. I'll be keeping you up to date on it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough talking too, isn't it, Peter? Thanks for that. Back to you later.
Indeed.
Well, few would doubt that the refugee crisis is indeed in very urgent need of a solution. We're going to show these pictures again. The humanitarian situation in Greece alone deteriorating day by day for the tens of thousands still stuck there. Tensions rising by the day too. These pictures from the Greek-Macedonian border, that's where there are more than 10,000 people still stranded. After that so-called Balkan route was cut off so recently, volunteers say food and clothes are becoming scarce. It's not particularly warm, as you can see people are scrambling for aid when it arrives as well. It's a mess. Well, we can now discuss attempts to tackle the refugee crisis with Leonardis Christophopoulos, a former Greek diplomat, joining us on the line. Sir, thanks for being with us. So much riding on these talks tomorrow, the bargaining chip, I guess, with Turkey. Do you see there will be a breakthrough maybe today, probably tomorrow, some sort of EU-Turkish deal that everyone can agree to that will be effective end of the day?
I do not think so. I do not think so, because Turkey is not going to get what it has asked for. It has asked for the visa liberalization regime, which many countries oppose, particularly France. It has asked for the unfreezing of some chapters in the negotiation process that it's doing. Cyprus and other countries have blocked that. So essentially, I don't think that we will have any kind of result, which is a very unfortunate and very bad thing for the fate of the refugees. And also, I would like to add one more other issue that's happening in Greece. There is the Greek minister in charge of the refugees announced the other day that there will be Turkish observers that will be put on the islands.
Good plan or not?
It has been decided by the government and by the Turks. And there is a strong opposition to this, first of all, by the inhabitants of the island, because we know what's going to happen. I mean, one Turkish observer comes with about 5 or 6 or 10 supporting staff. They ask for a building, they put the Turkish flag on, and then something happens, and then we have incidents as we have had in the past. And also,
yeah, but I suppose if you're paying Turkey to, if you're paying Turkey money and you're charging them dealing with this crisis, you've got to let them have some free hand, I suppose, no?
Not when the Prime Minister, when he was advisor of Erdogan in his book Strategic Depth, said that, and I quote, "The area where Turkey is very close to war, more than any other case, is the Aegean Islands that restrict the territorial space of Turkey." I mean, and now he's the Prime Minister, and he has said that, and this is why it is creating a big reaction in Greece. What we propose, the citizens propose, is to have observers from the United Nations Commission for Refugees do the work, and not Turks, not Greeks. Have the United Nations take care of that stuff.
Well, we're watching closely what's hammered out over the next day or so there in Brussels. Always good to see you on the programme, Sir Leonardis Christophopoulos, former Greek diplomat. Thank you.
Thank you very much.